we encounter prepaid numbers. The information that is very critical for us for prepaid because we expect that there are no such verification. Is the general location where the last connection was made. Even though it's zero in to the area where the crime was committed, still have a good information of where it was committed, and was within it, those were the areas. That is that there are no proxies whatsoever utilized. But as far as numbers are concerned, the last cell site where it is connected to, it's different altogether different storage for IP addresses.
So location data will be useful, but you don't differentiate between driver trafficking content data. It requires support.
Yes, for the Philippines, everything requires support order of warrant. And the procedure is the same. You have to go to court and evidence to support your application. The burden is always the same. So the judge is tasked to conduct a hearing, ask questions and answers, and you have to convince the judge that the warrant should be issued.
Is that not a bit complicated just as a driver? Sorry, I don't want to stress anything, but
well, we find it not only for domestic investigations, but also in fulfilling our obligations with respect to other international students. One threshold country will be different compared to us. Let's say in Thailand, they only need the threshold. If we submit a mutually to the Philippines, then of course the production order or the enforceable must be done according to Philippine law. Philippine law requires that exposure warrant. Now the threshold will be more compared to that of Thailand. So it's an issue both with the domestic requirements as well as the international requirements. But that's how it was decided by the Supreme Court. If these are rules already being crafted, which will supplement purposes that and cheaper law. I'll let the Supreme Court discuss further.
Well, I know it's complicated for them. It's quite asking for, and I think that's the time when if judges are educated and then you see the urgency of the matter, then it's up to you to actually expedite it. And I think that's one of the things that we should inform judges of, because you should not treat it just like any other warrant. It's a specialized kind of warrant. And so we're coming out, the Supreme Court is coming out with the rules of procedure, I think within the year. And we've actually put some innovations to bridge the gap between the law and how law enforcement actually do their job. So like for, I think, online child pornography, you don't need to go to court to actually secure subscriber information, so you can directly they eliminated that the threshold is different. So I think that's one innovation for online child pornography. Then I think there are other innovations there that will be beneficial to enforcement. As it is, I think one of the problems now is non-compliance by service providers and the telcos, and we've given them, we've sort of put in proceedings that are summary in nature, where they can go to court and ask the court to cite the service providers or telcos in contempt if they disobey the order of court or the order of law enforcement. So there are we were doing something to actually bridge the gap, although it's quite difficult to say, but as I said earlier, it's not that easy to find the balance between the rights of individuals to their privacy, which is enshrined in our constitution, to actually so it's quite a difficult task to actually find that balance. And we're trying our best to at least bridge the gap and make it for law enforcement and the judiciary.
If you take an analogy from real world situations, if you want to do audio video surveillance of a bedroom of somebody, it's quite a high threshold, right? If you want to know who does this number plate of the car belong to, it's a low threshold. And in a way, it's a similar, could be a similar situation of who is the owner of this telephone number or of this IP address or of this email account. There's a whole searching a computer, the content of a computer, or intercepting a communication. And it would seem a bit, it's a really dynamic kind of, in Philippines is not, it's great that you put high levels of safeguards there, but at the same time, it's a bit strange to treat it at the same level. And very often you have situations when you may have a suspicion related to something happening to an IP address. Not enough to convince the judge, but there's a suspicion. You have others also with a low level of suspicion. Once you have identified this, suddenly a network of criminal attacking ideas. So that's why anyway, the idea is that you have a different threshold for subscriber information as opposed to traffic data where you want to know who called when whom, over a period of time, or content data, which is of course much more intrusive. The computer is dead. Can somebody revitalize it? But I have another question to Thailand in respect to the Philippines. Does this section 14 only apply to computer crime?
Not really. You can actually just go to court and say that you're doing an investigation, and that as part of the case build up, there's a complaint that was filed before you, and you need to, as part of your investigation, you need to have telcos and service providers disclose this information in the disclosure.
But would you still refer to section 14?
Yes, of course. Yes, we still have to refer to section 14.
To cybercrime.
Because there are other sections as well of the law which refers to our other laws as well. So you don't need to limit yourself to cybercrime. Because even the Cybercrime Prevention Act refers to our other laws as well and other crimes.
So I remember that we had this discussion 7-8 years ago when we talked about the law that's usually a bit more narrow, to broaden the procedural powers to all that. I think this is something important for Cambodia and for Myanmar to keep in mind, the laws, that the procedural powers of the cybercrime law relate to electronic evidence in relation to any crime, not just cybercrime. First thing. And second thing, differentiate the type of data that you need with different types of authorizations required.
I'd like to check on how Philippines handle requests from Russian orders over multinational orders like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and ensure that petitions which may not be cybercrime law, somewhere in commercial law, like in the business in the Philippines concept, require jurisdiction of officers. So may provide services or are providing services in the country, but situated elsewhere.
Well, there's a principle in a corporation that if you're doing business in the Philippines or you have a branch or subsidiary in the Philippines, then of course Philippine laws will apply, and you subject yourself under the jurisdiction of the courts. The courts have power over you, and I think that's one idea that has been where it can be applied that to service providers and let's say Facebook. I mean, you're in a sense doing business in the Philippine courts actually acquire jurisdiction and impose its coercive power, well, the powers of the courts over you. I haven't encountered one. I had to issue disclosure order for multinational companies, but they would just surmise that even if I issue one, then there's a problem of enforcement. Then we go now to another jurisdiction where the processes of the court will not. There's a question that will be enforceable in another country. So we now go into the aspect of jurisdiction in the conflict of several laws that. So I think that will also problem.
Production orders in Indonesia deal with that.
Thank you. For production orders, we have different NLA in Indonesia. Because we must, if we want to make a game array, we must get permission from the person first, and human rights ministry. So this takes a long time process. So that's why if we handle the case from the Swiss, it takes a long time process. So every country, like Europe and US, it's very difficult to apply about the NLA.
And for local, for domestic production.
For domestic, we just make the legal order from us, from police, and maybe it's from the court. Isn't it?
It works.
Yes, it's right.
And how do you differentiate when police can issue a production order and when police goes to court? Is there a crime?
Yes. Maybe the category is like difficult, or difficult, and for the where the evidence put it somewhere. Maybe if the evidence in the company server, we must take the permission to legal orders. And if you just take the evidence from the, maybe it's not big company, it's only small company like small ISP, you just want to do not permission to them or from the police.
So that's limited prior information.
Yeah. Also added to the subscribe information. Yeah, content traffic data, also content traffic data, not only subscribe information.
Sorry, that seems a bit, maybe I misunderstood. So for a large company, you need a court order. For small companies, you don't.
Yes. Because it's for legality. Yeah, because the company has big rules.
They have lawyers.
Yeah. They know about the legal. Yeah. Small companies doesn't know.
It's, from a rule of law perspective,
Yeah.
shady.
There's one request from Myanmar. You can listen to Myanmar how we send the detention order and other processes. Myanmar how we do detention order.
We take
So court order is needed in all cases. Okay, there is, what we discussed before about, and what you mentioned regarding the Philippines, about if somebody is doing a business in your country, they always have to follow local domestic law. If they only offer service here without them being really here, what do you do with it? And this is the question that the Cybercrime Committee looked into with respect to this problem of 18.1b, Article 18.1b, which talks about ordering the production of subscriber information if the providers offering this in your country without being necessarily here. Okay? So the committee thinking about it. And the guidance note on Article 18, with respect to this information, says that you could order the production of subscriber in a context of a specific criminal investigation. You have a criminal investigation underway. With regard to specified subscribers, you cannot just go and just you want every data on everybody just for the fun of it. So you need a criminal investigation, and you need to talk about specified subscribers. We need subscribers of these and these email addresses, or of these and these internet addresses at this moment in time. If the criminal justice authority has jurisdiction over the offense, we need to claim jurisdiction, say we have an offense in our country for these reasons. We have the right to investigate this in our country. And the service provider is in possession or control of the subscriber information. Now let's see if you have been in Strasbourg. Who has been in Strasbourg so far? So Canada is a regular visitor. Honorary has also been there, and Jet has been there a few times. Anyway, in Strasbourg there is in the center of the town a square, pedestrian area. It's called Place Kléber. General Kléber was a general under Napoleon, he conquered Egypt. Anyway, at Place Kléber you have an Apple store. Otherwise, Apple is not in France. They have these stores a bit all over the place. Otherwise, they're not there. Otherwise, Apple is in Ireland or United States. The question is the Apple Store a service provider in possession or control of the subscriber information? Similar would happen if Microsoft has marketing offices in different countries, or even other type of offices. It's not clear whether you are the person in possession or control. So anyway, this has to be clarified. So, and if the service provider is in or control of the subscriber information, and then you have two situations. Situation Article 18.1a, the person, in this case the service provider, is in the territory of the party. So typically, if you have a local telco provider provides access or other services, you can issue a production order. Actually, irrespective of whether the data is in your country or not. Or, and this is Article 18.1b, and here we come to this business link, which I referred to. A party consists that a service provider is offering a service in the territory of the party. For example, the service provider enables persons in the territory of the party to subscribe to its services. Now that is extremely important, because you can subscribe basically to everything unless that service is specifically dropped in your country. Right? And the service provider has established a real and substantial connection to a party.
I think from the US perspective, this is a concept, not concept Canadian, this is a similar concept. Not this is Canadian, but you use a similar concept.
But I think in this
negotiation states said we follow the Canadian concept of real and substantial connection.
And relevant factors include the extent to which a service provider orients its activities towards such subscribers. For example, if you provide local advertising in the language of the territory of the party. So if now you have a service provider that may be in another country, but they offer services in your local language, then it's an indicator you may use. Or if the service provider makes use of such information for marketing and other purposes, for example, or interacts with the subscribers in the party. Let's say your citizens with the service and they contact the helpline and they get support. That's an interaction with the subscribers in your party. Or if the provider is otherwise considered established in the territory of the party, there's a lot of coming in Europe from the European Court of Justice saying you don't have to be legally or physically in the country, but you can still be considered under certain conditions. So you see there are lots of ifs and possibilities, but with this, in 1B, we are going away already a bit more from this concept of territoriality. Be in your country and so on. And with 18.1a as well, because there it is not relevant whether the data is in the country or not, stored in the country. So that's why the guidance note is not easy. It's not easy to understand. There are more subtleties behind, but it's still an important step that we have taken, I believe, with that can be negotiated as part of a protocol. And the Deputy Data Protection Commissioner is still here? Just that. The Data Protection Commissioner had an important slide, the second or third slide. He said, in order to disclose data, you need either adequacy in terms of data protection or a legal basis, a legal instrument. And that's why the protocol to the Budapest Convention could constitute a legal instrument if we manage to negotiate, which is still not clear because it's a complicated issue. If we manage to negotiate that, would be a legal instrument that would then allow you to cooperate directly with a provider in another country. Of course, if you're party to the Budapest Convention. I would propose that we have a final tour de table, very briefly, of what you consider possible solutions. What can you do in your country to get better access to data that is somewhere in the cloud, including private information. Cebu, all this is stuff.
You should change the name of your country to start over in the alphabet.
Shall we start the other way around? Shall we start with Thailand? We do it the other way around this time. Thailand. Reverse engineering.
Right. So first of all, I would agree that the Philippines are not too limited about ourselves for the benefit of the justice, because this is about how we interpret the content of law for the benefit of the criminal justice. Thailand law gives, there are many pieces of Thai law that gives the authority the power to access the information like production order. So this is about how it is of law to for the benefit of our investigation. All right. So to speak about the access to the information in the cloud, we need to maybe interpret more, to define more about how we can widen the power of the authority to access the information for the service provider multi-nationality.
Don't forget the beers and the wines and Singapore.
If I was just trying to add on to that which I've already spoken about, one particular angle that we are exploring in terms of the regulatory advantage that we have and use that to aid in law. We look closer at the licenses that we issue to service providers, and especially our jurisdiction, those licenses not only to service providers who are physically present and physically operate out of our jurisdictions, but even your Facebook USA and even your Yahoo USA operate under what's known as a class license. It's not a license apply for, but it's a license that applies to you when you make available your services in Singapore. Now, of course, as mentioned by the delegate from the Philippines and by some others earlier today, you have the problem of enforcement. And there, but it is not something that we have decided upon. I can only point to the solution that the Belgian authorities arrived at their own case involving Yahoo and the sale of Nazi memorabilia being made available in Belgium, mention of Belgian law. And that is to take up and use the very large stick of saying, well, if you say you have no presence in Belgium, and therefore Belgian law does not operate against you, then I will block you from, you will block Yahoo system made available in Belgium. So there are some regulatory hooks we can do, but these are certainly of last resort or actions of last resort. But to say that we are completely powerless is not true.
It is an important consideration because companies still want to do business. This is one thing. Representatives of companies still want to travel. And of course, blocking out a service indeed would be a very, very ultimate measure that would also be considered. But anyway, the feedback I get from providers, and I had a little bit of discussions with friends with years, they want to have a clear legal framework. But they also want to have a clear framework, they want to have a level playing field, and they don't want conflicts of course. So I wouldn't say that providers would be completely rejecting the idea of regulations are going to be clear and avoid conflicts. So that's why we try to formalize that in a protocol to Budapest and make it clear to everybody. And we will, of course, also enter into a dialogue with providers with industry to, as they are in dialogue with data protection communities for example. What is the Myanmar's delegation is still consulting? Okay, they're preparing a speech. Maybe if we come to you, but we'll have Indonesia with some perspective in the future.
Indonesia, I think the solution is only for America. And the others is just police to police. Until now, we always use police to police because I said the problem is long time process.
If I understand correctly what you said earlier, that today you have to get permission from the Ministry of Human Rights.
Yes, every I said every court or scripture is one by one. So it's one process. For by
which means if you send a request for subscriber information,
yeah, to the offices here. Yes.
I think checking options for streamlining which legal systems offer, in particular for certain types of requests would be useful. One of the, the protocol to the Budapest Convention. Actually, I lost it. Can somebody put the presentation? I lost it quick. Okay, thank you. In connection with the protocol to the Budapest Convention, one issue is in connection with the protocol to the Budapest. The first option we want to look at is how to make mutual assistance more efficient. And there, one of the options is to find a governance regime, an easy regime for requests for subscriber information. I think that the issues of enforcing a domestic production in the country. And that may also be something for Indonesia to look into, that is okay for normal MLA, where you need all sorts of data. Yes, a complicated process. But for subscriber information, it should be just like this, and you send it off, and someone will assign.
We have communication with the connection with Facebook and so maybe last year. They told me about how we get the information, subscriber information to them. But the situation is policy, company policy about what can he give to us information. So they just giving us the information just only if case is type murder. The second is terrorism, and the third is drugs. But the main problem in Indonesia is defamation right now. So they're so clear. In the US, it's free for everyone. So it's problem.
I think for defamation, it's very difficult to get data. So that's true. And for MLA, you're also not getting it. So for defamation, it's a problem. Now, we are doing something in the Cybercrime prevention to look into. There's another working group in the committee, of Cybercrime committee, looking at cyber of violence. It's called a cyberbullying group, but actually it's broader than cyberbullying. It's cyber violence group, with the focus on the children to look into this, to see, to map the issue and see what solutions can be required. Because there may be defamation, that may be covered by freedom of speech, but when it comes to specific form of cyber violence, you need other measures. And who knows what will come out of it.
Solution of the marriage, commenting design.
Sure. The solution is here in the project.
The solution may not the forward in case in Korea and basically the same, Twitter or Facebook they will cooperate in the case of the victim of the defamation Twitter user filed seriously against the unknown person, and then Korean made a request to US DOJ and US court to order Twitter to provide the user information. Anyway, by the civil suit, and your court made a request to the US court, and US court made order against the service provider.
Civil case.
Yeah. Then you will get user information.
Well, the FMLA be applicable to criminal matters. So I am not sure, it depends on the treaty you have with the US or the country race. But initially, MLA is only for criminal matters. In a civil case, such requires me working in the US. It's only in criminal cases, or administrative or civil cases, then US say.
Sorry, maybe information cases it's very easy in another country, but in Indonesia we have many ethnic. Yeah, so this defamation can make a big problem to our country to make it to protect everyone, every ethnic can be a big problem.
No, you have to also then look into the issue of xenophobia, racism, hate speech altogether. And if you go under defamation, you run into problems. And in many countries, half of the grounds of defamation is under civil law, it's not under criminal law anymore. There are not that many countries left, at least less than half, that defamation is. But there are other offenses from bullying, stalking, grooming of children, all sorts of online violence that you have. And violence also defined as psychological violence, not physical violence as we begin. Plus, there is the issue of incitement to violence, incitement to communal violence, so racism. Maybe we need to use those other types of offenses rather than following the defamation line, then cooperating or trying to get cooperation from providers. But again, this is an area where providers are difficult and are not readily cooperation, and we had also from parties to the convention outside Europe, from one part, we had a situation, country which is otherwise very peaceful, with many entities, very different religions in the country, and then suddenly via Facebook, something evolved, some dynamism. Suddenly there was communal violence being started and so on, and the country asked Facebook to take down some of these accounts, and Facebook said freedom of speech and so on. Difficult, very difficult situation. Okay. But anyway, interesting observations, and it also proves that we have to look more into this bullying issue. We have to look into xenophobia, racism. There's a protocol to the Budapest Convention on xenophobia and racism committed by the computer systems. United States did not sign it because of Second Amendment, First Amendment issues and so on. But we would probably get easier cooperation from European countries.
So we have that's a big problem because because discrimination is a big problem to our. That's why every people in this world, also Indonesia, use Facebook, and as a big discrimination speech in Facebook. So affect the effect in Facebook and Instagram on all media social from the outside. That's why we cannot information private information from them. So if you meet someone, the government, someone in Indonesia, you just ask them how what is a big problem in Indonesia? Is defamation. Because the president every time giving the like to citizens to make the down the defamation case because the defamation can be war. So in every and I already saw Facebook, Google. Yeah, it's difficult. They don't send answer. They don't good answer for me.
I think interesting developments in Europe because there are a number of governments. Germany is one of them that want social media providers to take more action also in relation to hate speech against migrants, incitement to terrorism, and so forth. So one has to see what happens there, and whether then also companies like Facebook and others will adjust their policies. It's a difficult one because the boundary between what is something very unpleasant that you don't like at all, you don't associate with, and something that is illegal, this can be very thin. So we have to be very careful in terms of homework.
Yeah. We now we open to every country until now. Many country selling his software to how to collect the social media to make us policemen to catch the account, but they cannot collect the data like IP or something like that information data. They cannot give us. Just sell the software about how to provide the account to be closer, to make information to be closer. That's it. They cannot sell how to catch the user. How to catch the user. We just need it. We just need it. We can use the like the data or something like that. We buy the software from Singapore. I'm sorry. Maybe 200. Yeah, it's maybe until the software only collect the data, only collect the data, provide the data from the other user to make it simple. That's it. They can fix the suspect where and how the data the user about the user geolocation.
Okay, proper knowledge solutions will be found.
I think maybe Cambodia. So So I think Facebook or Google make us some difference for our country about hate speech. Now it's a big problem in Indonesia for hate speech. We need more information subscriber from Facebook, Google, because now this aspect is always using Facebook to make some happy and like that, and this our problem. So I hope from this convention you can make some advice to Facebook or Google to make a difference to our country. Thank you.
That's a great point. I'm not sure whether this is a question.
It's a great point. If we have the same, exactly the same issue in the Philippines, where cases are easy rising. We have dialogues with Facebook and Twitter.
Yes.
They say that they are doing in terms of blocking certain speeches, only blocking certain speeches. Says they are amenable to take down the entire post. But there are standards of rules. So the Philippines will be happy to Facebook and Twitter their own on that. So we can assist you in helping these standards together and see how we can move forward.
Yeah, blocking may be at least a solution to prevent things from happening. But you want to get the suspect. Cambodia.
Cambodia has a good power money in cybercrime. We do have criminal law against the operation of automated data processing system. So our intention, because as the Budapest Convention is a good rule of law, we look into that area because we don't want the internet service provider to screw us up in Cambodia. If you want to be a service provider in Cambodia, you better be straight and honest, or we gonna get your ass. That's one.
Very diplomatic.
So what we try to do now to ensure that computer use law is necessary to deter action directed against the act of obstruction, the operation of automated data processing system. That's one of the things. Two, if you don't listen to us, you're going to careful. You're going to touch our national security, and that's your ass will be locked 15 years in jail. So that's Cambodia going to do this stuff. Because I don't want you to come in as a weak country like this, have knowledge nothing about the cyber and try to play around with us. But remember, we not as stupid. But behind something to looking for the internet service provider that's so crooked. That's about it. That's really serious one.
We work with Cambodia on the law and also discuss issues of proportionality and other important concepts. Let's keep in mind, people use these services because they like to use these services. And most of it is for the good. just have the way of ensuring cooperation and also make sure that whatever whether is allowed to do and was not allowed to do is based on law, and that the way law enforcement works with service providers is also, and then how to get over this very difficult problem of jurisdiction in a cyberspace where borders in terms of providing services are not that essential anymore, but when the borders for law enforcement are still there. So we have to somehow match this, and we have to find very smart solutions, as I said this morning.
Thank you. I would like to stress about the production of the frontline investigator. We do the production of the basis for the current provider. And we do two contexts, domestic and international. Based on our law, we trade that at the same level that require the such warrant for the production. Bank, telco, the
Search warrant.
Search warrant. Because we knew that we find it is the challenges and take time in order to get the search warrant. The government circulation interministry between the Ministry of Post and Telecom to provide and Ministry of Interior to order all the telco and provide the information out of the request from the national police. Have to write an official letter. It works in 2011 for domestic program. Except for it.
Who has to authorize this warrant?
This we don't call it a warrant. It's kind of subpoena, which need to be signed by chief of the national police or delegate deputy commander of national police. Since 2011, the issue, the circulation in the world until now is settled. Service providers that do not have the data for us together, but we cannot compel. So, like our from items demonstrate the technology. Some companies just said that they do not invest on the NAND data storage. It's too much invest. So we don't compel. Another concept is international. We did serve but since a few years ago, but unfortunately we cannot obtain the result from the service provider like before. It is because we still unclear about the existing and we need to discuss about this more. And one more thing, we drafting now we drafting state on the cyber law and also process how to Chair, just a quick comment on what has been said by a colleague from Cambodia, where you have a telco who tells you that they do not invest in NAT storage and they are therefore unable to provide you with the relevant IP address. Actually, the situation where law enforcement needs to work hand in hand with telecoms regulator. The topic we're talking about is actually data retention. That's fill up the entire day or two, but that's exactly what we're dealing with in Singapore right now. Rather than pass a controversial law where everybody can comment and criticize the need for data retention policies, we are going at it telecom license point of view. We're deciding on the time frame. Meaning we're going to make it reasonable. We're not going to say 5 years, we're not going to say 2 years. We're saying, okay, IP address for up to 12 months. You don't like it, and borrow the minister's words, you don't operate it like that. Yeah. So licensing regime that can help you deal with some of these problems.
We also look at because this obstruction of our national security and also with all this cybercrime in our country. You can see now all of us come together to listen to our friends and what you provide us very much. So we have to learn left hand and the right hand of our national have to do together in order to strengthen cooperation. Put our hand across the border to other colleagues as if left hand and right hand, national left hand and right hand are able to work together, don't trust Cambodia. Don't spend your time for nothing. The same Cambodia, if your left hand and right hand don't work together, you're not going to do it. This is ASEAN value. We have to come together, work together. Those of us. Thank you.
Very good. As I said, I offered before, review of your draft law. They're happy to help you with it. Keep in mind, they help you later on also in your cooperation with domestic and foreign providers. Distinguish the certain seizure powers that are in Article 19 Budapest Convention, as opposed to the protection of Article 18 Budapest Convention. And maybe differentiate between subscriber, traffic, and content data with a lower threshold cyber information. Because maybe eventually you want to get data from Microsoft, Google, Facebook on, they will check your domestic logs. They will say, okay, if I get now a request from a police officer in Cambodia, it's a police officer authorized to ask subscriber information from me. Or not. But it's a court order required. If court order required, I only get from if there's a local court order. They have these permissions. So it will be helps you later on. So check the small print of Article 18 and 19 Convention can help you later on in your domestic issues, but also requesting data from foreign service providers. Just for example, we're setting up an online tool at the Council of Europe where we are listing among the files to the production what is equivalent to Article 18 for production orders in domestic laws. So that service providers can check and then see, Portugal prosecutors, Slovakia court, Germany police, and so on. And that's how I respond to court orders of police or prosecution requests. That's why the clearer your provisions are domestically for production orders, the easier it is later on to get cooperation. Anyway, it offers stands anytime you need our help. I'm happy to.
We are very mindful with this suggestion. right now the discussion, but we have law, who the authority to issue license for service provider that want to be become we still discuss among ourselves each post, either interior or other institution that issue that license. We still have that. Until we have that law that you request, then maybe we can decide who should issue the license for the service provider.
Also, I think licensing is maybe one issue, and the law enforcement powers maybe something. We are not, last but not least, we have time to reflect.
In Myanmar, 2015, Cybercrime is supposedly provided by EU, and now it's still presented. The communication, the Ministry of Communication is not a for this. It is still on process. And the work I is have to be you track nice the track voice is
Yeah, the draft or what we offered 2 years ago was draft legislative. We offered some options that you could consider for a law. It was done under the Casey project, the same the predecessor to the Casey Plus project. So if you would like our support, as I offered to Cambodia, if you would like our support to follow up and help your working group of the draft law, we are happy to do so.
thank you very much. Now, the bill is finished, already finished, and it will be carried out. It is evident.
But still, if you want to send it to us anytime, look, we can provide comments. We do this all the time. It's a service to countries around the world. We look at draft laws at any stage of the process. So the offer stands. Happy to have. Okay, we work very hard all the time. But I must say, I personally found the presentations, your interventions, but also the presentations we heard from different speakers, extremely interesting. Some of the complex problems, like that were discussed. Like many of the other issues, the current threats we heard from different service providers, to offer to cooperate with governments was also clearly expressed. So I think we had
first day.
I think I hand over to Lolita with the good news about dinner arrangements.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. It has been a very productive day, as a matter of fact. We extended 5 minutes. So we serve a good dinner, and dinner will be served at 6:30 here in the conference hall. So just tomorrow we will be starting at exactly 9 o'clock. I wish to see all of you here 15 minutes before 9. So thank you very much, and good evening, everyone.